Hello and welcome back to another episode of the On the Sideline podcast of Jackson and Kyle. I am Jackson, and I'm joined here, as always, by the man who would never blow a large lead in the second half. Kyle, how's it going?
I think sports are dumb. That's what I think.
This has to be the worst week for On the Sideline, like, ever.
Yeah, this was brutal. I didn't have fun this week. I didn't have fun. Football was bad. Soccer was bad. And yeah, I didn't enjoy my Sunday. I hope you did, but I did not.
Okay, well, I am sorry. I think you enjoyed part of your Sunday. I bet there's a moment when you're having a really good time.
No, I didn't. I didn't enjoy a single second of it. Not a single second. Even my food tasted bad. Everything tasted bad. Everything was bad.
What happened?
It was all stale, and the beer was flat. I didn't enjoy the beer. There was nothing good. Nothing good happened from today. You can't tell me a single good thing happened in anybody's life. That's what I know.
Okay, I think something. Some things. I think some people would argue that good things happened.
No, not a single good thing happened. Don't gaslight me. It didn't happen.
Okay, well, let's start off. This was the week of the horrific losses, I guess. I think that's kind of the tone here, where it felt like not even great wins. It feels like every loss, like even the teams that won, it's like Atlanta doesn't care about, like, what do they care? Saints, what do they care? Bills, like, I kind of care for momentum, but like from a seeding perspective, doesn't change anything. This was that was the theme of the week. Kyle, let's start off as we always do with the Sunday show. We'll get to the Patriots before too long. Don't worry. I mean, horrific losses, like for the Cowboys, they enter this game a win away from potentially, from staying in it. Now, I think they were still in a tough spot going 4-0. But at this point, their only pathway is to win out and get the Eagles to lose out. The Eagles play the Commanders twice. This is it for the Cowboys.
Yeah, they're done. They're probably done. I mean, I guess anything can happen. It's the NFL. But they feel done at this point. I mean, I honestly, like we talked about it last week, was the loser leaves town game. It became a tough uphill battle at that point. And I think this is just the nail in the coffin. So yeah, I think that they didn't play well defensively. Quinton Williams went off with an injury in this game. JJ McCarthy, I thought, played really well, which is that a conversation about JJ McCarthy or a conversation about the Cowboys defense? That's a whole nother question altogether. But yeah, I just didn't think this team played good enough defensively to win this game. And, Brandon Aubrey doesn't usually miss field goals. He missed 2 in this game. Not that it would have made a big difference on the score line. But yeah, I mean, it's just a frustrating game, I think, for Cowboys fans. And yeah, I think it's the end of a frustrating season.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're a Cowboys fan, you'll root for your team and root against the Eagles next week. But it's by the time the Cowboys play another game, it could be over because the Eagles play on Saturday afternoon. So that might just be it. I don't know. I mean, I just feel like for Dallas, the weird season that they've had. This has been such an odd season for them. I guess this is a step forward. Like I think this George Pickens thing, assuming they can get him locked up to a deal, which is not a safe assumption with Dallas, assuming they can get that, it does feel like they have taken a step forward from what maybe they would have been this offseason. Kind of. I don't know. What do you think with it? I can't figure out this Cowboys team.
I don't know. They won 7 games last year, and Dak barely played. And this was a team that was, at least competing for the division title for a lot of the years. Even if we weren't convinced on their playoff stature, like they were competing for division titles. I think Dak Prescott. I was just having a conversation earlier with a buddy of mine. Like Dak Prescott is firmly like in the top 7 or 8 quarterbacks in the NFL at this point. The last 2 healthy seasons he's played lights out. So you have all of this stuff at your disposal. Not making the playoffs, them and the Bengals not making the playoffs feels like such a letdown with the quarterbacks they have at their stature and their age. I just, I don't know exactly what the explanation is, but yeah, I think it could be a partial step forward. Like you said, they got better defensively as the year went along. They figured this stuff out without the Parsons thing. They made a few trades at the end of the deadline to make things happen, but it took too long to get to where you needed to be. And like there was a phase of this season where this team looked like they would go and make things happen, but it just wasn't enough for them.
Yeah. And then I guess big thing for you kind of touched on it, but for Minnesota as a team, they've been playing better as of late. Also, you finally got signs of life from JJ McCarthy these past 2 weeks. Yes, it's Commanders and Cowboys. What does that mean? I don't know, but it's at least signs of life.
It's the baby steps, right? Like he's
Yeah.
a young quarterback. He deserves that more than like what we talk about with the Cowboys. He definitely deserves that. This team is eliminated. There's nothing to play for. Get your quarterback some momentum going into next season and figure out what you have there.
Yeah, it's not like they have to get a new quarterback or anything. Like, I think a couple weeks ago, we're like, they got to get someone else. Like, now they could get someone else. It's a decision, at least.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what the rest of the season looks like. I still think that they should probably bring somebody else in for just competition. But, like, yeah, I think, if he's able to play like this, then, yeah, you got a shot.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. You bring a quote unquote like good backup in, right? It's, oh no, we're paying Mac Jones $11 million because we think he's a good backup. Like that's the move.
Yeah, I mean Mac Jones would be a great fit here. So
Yeah.
I mean that is an option.
Kyle, let's talk your Patriots. We'll start off there. I mean, this was at one point fantastic for the Patriots. They had a 24-7 lead at halftime. Even after the Bills came back, there was the cool, Trayvon Henderson, his second long rush of the game. Drake May is running down the field throwing blocks, but ultimately kind of got Josh Allen here.
Got Josh Allen a little bit. The offense really struggled in the second half too. I mean, all phases of the game really struggled in the second half. Defensively, they really struggled. They could not stop the run in the second half. Offensively, they couldn't get open. Like I think there was a big conversation about Drake May after this game ended, and like it felt like a lot of coverage plays, like a coverage throwaways, coverage sacks, things like that. Couldn't get a lot going. But the big thing was just Josh Allen made a lot of things happen in the second half of this game. New England shot themselves in the foot a few times. Penalties were really brutal in the second half, some bad penalties. 50-50 calls. I do see a lot of Patriots fans complaining about the penalties in the second half. I can hear some of the argument, but at the same time, it's like 50-50 calls leave you up to the opportunity of the referees making those decisions. So I just think the big thing that happened in this game, the defense got gassed. There was way too many plays on the field. Couldn't get first downs, and then you're immediately punting the ball back to a defense that was gassed. This team just felt like it needed one drive in the second half to kind of weather the storm, and they just couldn't get that drive. And even that Trayvon Henderson play, which was awesome, I even watched that play and was like, I would have liked to have like an 8-play drive here, just because like they've been on the field the entire game, second half of the game, and that was just a really frustrating second half to watch them just go up and down the field on us. But yeah, I mean, I think if you're taking positives out of it, it's like you've played Buffalo twice, and basically it's been a toss-up both of the games. And like, if this is your biggest competition to win the AFC, like you've proven at least in 2 games that you can compete with this team. But also like that feels like a big letdown. I know you're still in the position to win the division. You just got to win your last 2 games of the season, but that feels like a big gut punch at that point.
Yeah. I mean, like this is just kind of the thing with the way things are going, and the Bills, despite only being a game out with 3 to go, have a real tough slate if they're going to try and win the division. They probably need the Patriots to drop a game against the Dolphins or Jets if they're going to get the division. And there's no guarantee the Bills go 3-0 either. But this is just kind of the thing about Buffalo, that it's just out of the elite quarterbacks. Listen, Josh Allen, people have now put him in the MVP conversation. In my opinion, he should not be in the MVP conversation. You look at his season as a whole, he has just had too many off games. The Texans game, that Dolphins game, too many games where he just hasn't looked quite right. Josh Allen is, to me, easily the best quarterback on a contending team this season, and this is just what he can do to any of these other teams. He can do this to Denver. He can do this to the Patriots, as we just saw. That's the issue if you're going up against that guy, and you just have to hope he doesn't have one of those games against you in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I mean, there was a point in 3:50 left in the first half of this game where they had -2 passing yards, -2, and yeah. I mean, they obviously completely turned it around. So yeah, I mean, the Patriots defense early in this game was doing a lot of really good things. I definitely felt like they missed Milton Williams in the second half of this game, but Buffalo made adjustments, and Buffalo continues to do this thing in the second half where, I mean, they put up 5 straight touchdown drives. I mean, that's something that, like, if you're able to do that, you're going to win a lot of games. I thought they played really well at that point. And like I said, I don't think New England capitalized on a lot of opportunities to close this game when they had the opportunity.
Yeah. We have a super chat saying, do you think the Bills are going to win the AFC East? Probably not, right?
Yeah, I mean the Patriots. As long as the Patriots win their last 2 games, they have the tiebreaker. So they can lose next week to Baltimore. That game really doesn't matter, except for if they want to stay in contention for the #1 seed, which still is not even guaranteed, even if they win the game. But as long as they win their last 2 games, they're going to have the division record tiebreaker, and they're going to win the division. So as long as they lock in, win those last 2 games, I don't see any reason why New England shouldn't win this division. But Buffalo obviously made it a little bit closer this week.
Where are you at this Patriots team? What's your feel? Because I feel like I haven't really heard you've been obviously been having a lot of fun with this team, but like what are your expectations heading into this final stretch?
I've enjoyed watching this team just because it's young and hungry, and that's something we haven't had as Patriots fans for a while. I definitely think I watch this team and think it's a year ahead of schedule, and it plays like a year ahead of schedule. Like, I think there are things about this team that are fundamentally flawed. The red zone defense and the red zone offense are both horrible. They are the worst red zone defense in football. Granted, they give up the least amount of red zone opportunities in the league, but they are the worst red zone defense in football. The red zone offense isn't much better as it is. Those are 2 things that I think are really bad for like NFL postseason success. I think you watch this game too, and like as good as this receiving court has played a lot of the season, they were really bad in the second half. They couldn't get a lot of separation. So I think that there are things that are fundamentally flawed about this team. I think there are things that are really good about this team. But yeah, I think that I still think that they have an opportunity in the AFC to compete and beat any of these teams. Like if this is the biggest competition, I think we could beat Buffalo in a one-off game, but it's not going to be easy, and it's going to take a big drastic change in the way they approach some of these games, especially in the second half. Like if Drake May is the superstar you want him to be, and I think he is every bit of that so far this season, you're gonna have to trust him to make some big time throws and uncork this offense a little bit. I think it's still way too conservative sometimes from Josh McDaniels and this offensive staff. I think you have to be a little bit more aggressive in some of these games in order to win them.
Yeah. That being said, I mean, you look at their like playoff, like their playoff roadmap once they get into the playoffs. Like if they're the 2 seed and you get the Chargers round 1, and then maybe round 2 you get like the Jaguars or the Texans, like that's not crazy that you can get to the conference championship. Kyle, and there's a streak going. It's been 15 straight years of either the Chiefs or the Patriots making the conference championship. Last time that hasn't happened, Mark Sanchez played in the conference championship game in the AFC.
It'd be great to keep that going,
Yeah.
I guess. Let's hope so.
Sure. Let's move on. I think the Patriots are fine. I think you got Josh Allen. I think there's no reason to panic. What should we go with the Chiefs next, or should we go with my stupid team next?
It's probably got to be the Chiefs. I mean, this is the biggest story, right? Like this is the juggernaut. This is the team that everybody was still afraid to face in January. I mean, there's 3 games left in the season. They are eliminated.
Yeah.
Not even like eliminated completely. They have no shot at making the playoffs at this point. And that's not even talking about the best player in football right now, Patrick Mahomes, if not one of the, 5 best quarterbacks of all time, Patrick Mahomes. Now out with a torn ACL, who knows how long that's going to take. I would assume that he'd be pretty close to playing at the start of next season. You never know, obviously, with some of these injuries and recovery timetables, but they asked him to be Superman so much of this season. Then all of a sudden he comes into this game with a left knee injury and it bends the wrong way. And that's it. And tough season for the Chiefs. I don't really know, the next steps are going to be very interesting for this franchise. Is this a sliding doors moment for everybody? I mean, that is an interesting question, but it's between that and, the Chargers, this team that we also had kind of written off over and over again with all of their injuries, all of their miscues. They've had some really ugly losses this season. They go and they sweep Kansas City this season and put themselves in a position to back in the driver's seat of this wildcard spot.
Yeah. Injury from Mahomes definitely stinks. Kyle, it's very similar to Tom Brady when he got injured that one year. But who knows how far. Chiefs could have easily won the Super Bowl just like the Patriots could have. But he keeps his streak alive, much like Brady, never having played a single snap, mathematically eliminated from playoff contention.
Very, very much similar.
Yeah, they were
We were
still in it.
only
I mean, if they beat the
yeah.
Chargers, who knows? Maybe they would have won the Super Bowl this year. We'll never know. It's basically the same thing as 2008.
Yeah, as an 11-win team didn't make the playoffs. Very, very much the same.
Yeah, I don't see any differences. Yeah, no, I mean, joking around. I will say, like, I mean, they didn't have a chance. Like, if
Yeah.
Mahomes is there, like, I think they'd probably at least get it to overtime. Who knows what happens? So that stings as well. Granted,
I mean, he also had it in the red zone and threw an interception before
yeah,
that, right?
right.
Like,
Yeah, definitely. Mahomes does not deserve zero share of the blame. And you look like at Kelsey and Chris Jones. If they're playing, they're not Kelsey and Chris Jones anymore. And you think about like probably the three most important players in this dynasty. It's Mahomes and those two guys, right? Like Tyreek Hill. I guess kind of Tyreek Hill because of also the trade value he had that kind of kept this going. But if you make the Patriots comparison, I think about how the Patriots ultimately got Gronkowski and Julian Edelman, right? And they were able to kind of have this second stretch. It feels like the Chiefs kind of need that. They need more. There's obviously a lot of little things, but like they're going to need to get better. I mean, that's just what it comes down to.
yeah, I mean, they got to adjust a lot of these things. Like you said, there are going to be guys in and out of this depth chart that is going to change a lot of things. And how they adjust is going to be the key to the sustained level of success that this franchise has. I mean, I think the other aspect of this is look, Mahomes is going to be 31 heading into next season. He's had multiple lower body injuries at this point, heading into next season as well. Like the other aspect of the Patriots thing that was an anomaly was that Brady played until he was 45. Like, there's no guarantee that as great as Patrick Mahomes is, he's going to play until 45 because that's not normal.
Right.
So I think, however long you can get out of Mahomes is going to be a big part of it. How you rebuild this roster, because this roster does need a lot of rebuilding. They need to fix a lot of things. They need to add in more pieces. Because like, I don't think this was Mahomes' best season by any means, but also like, I think a lot of guys around him did not play up to standards that they needed to keep this going.
Yeah. And part of it too was like, we talk about the Chargers' offensive line injuries, partially because they were built under offensive line, and that's kind of why it's more of a story. But the Chiefs were more injured under offensive line than the Chargers were in this game. I mean, like they've had a ton of offensive line injuries, so they don't get because they're the Chiefs, they don't get the excuses. But that's been a huge part of it. I think that again, the Joe Thuney trade I think ended up being the wrong call. But again, you can't predict the injuries either, so it's just a tough spot for Kansas City. I mean, they're all right. They're fine, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, they should be fine, but I mean, one of those things, like I said, there's a lot of adjustments I think have to be made. Like, obviously, I think Rice is a good player, despite, getting crushed in the last two games on hits. They still have good players on this team, but they have to go through it and kind of rebuild some of this with some of the older players. Like you said, Kelsey is not going to continue to provide the same thing that you want. Chris Jones isn't going to provide the same thing that you want. It just goes top to bottom with that rotation. And yeah, I mean, you look at what Denver's doing this season, you look at what Los Angeles is doing this season, despite all the injuries. Those are two really good teams all of a sudden. Not winning the division does not feel like a foregone conclusion for Kansas City next season.
Yeah, they had won it for about a decade. The Chargers are the team that sticks the dagger in the Dragon's neck. Really good defense for the Chargers, and Herbert continues to play well. I think that's kind of the no real major takeaways, but really impressive 2-week stretch for this Chargers team. Like you said, kind of writing them off, being able to beat Philadelphia and then beat the beat the Chiefs. They had that horrible Jaguars loss, so we all kind of wrote them off, but. You look at outside of this, I mean, they're 6-1 in their last 7. Like that one loss was so bad that we were kind of discrediting them. But yeah, they're going to almost certainly be in the. We have the 3 wild cards. I think there's still debate about Steelers Ravens, but I think we have the 3 wild cards, and I think that I don't know, like I think that they're most likely a one and done playoff team just because of their injuries. But I don't know, it's still an impressive run for them.
Yeah. Still an impressive run. Like you said, I mean, Indianapolis technically isn't eliminated, but it's still a long shot at this point. Miami still technically isn't eliminated, but that feels like a long shot too.
Well, we could talk about them, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just they've done a really good job. And if they can get the right matchup, maybe, because I think Justin Herbert is still really good,
Mhm.
and the defense is still really good. But it's just, it's been a really interesting season to see how this team adjusted on the fly a lot, because, like you said, they were built through the trenches. Those trenches took a huge beating, and now they've been adjusting on the fly.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. Kyle, let's talk about, very early for a Thursday night game, but I think the situation calls for it. Buccaneers somehow finding a way to blow a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter to Kirk Cousins, who is now in a Falcons uniform 3-0 against Todd Bowles and the Buccaneers. That don't love that stat. This is a game that was very fun to be at for a while, Kyle. It was then very not fun to be at for a while. About as quiet of a fourth quarter as I have ever watched when it's like a competitive fourth quarter, with how frustrated the fans were. I heard a lot of like, just let the Panthers win the division, who cares, comments as I was leaving the stadium. This was a tough loss for the still somehow first place Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Still somehow first place. The NFC South is back again.
Unbelievable. We'll talk about the Panthers game in a second. I can't believe that the Buccaneers are like in the driver's seat to win the division after they lose to Kirk Cousins being up 14 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, so what's the deal? You basically need to go 1-1 in these last two games, and it doesn't matter at that point. Like,
yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's a small pathway that, like, weirdly Atlanta going 3-0 could somehow mess up the tiebreaker. They can't make the playoffs, but they could mess up the tiebreakers if there's a three-way tie. Basically, if the Buccaneers win 2 out of 3, they're guaranteed a playoff spot, and almost certainly if they win one of the Carolina games, they will make the playoffs.
All right. Well, yeah. No, this was frustrating. Obviously, second half of this game did not go well. This team lost in the fourth quarter, and I don't know, man. Like, it's just the defense continues to baffle me, because
Yeah.
it's like they're getting healthier, and then it's like they're getting worse at the same time. I just don't. I don't understand it. They couldn't get pressure in this game. They couldn't cover in this game. There was no Drake London in this game, and it's like, oh, that's a win for Tampa Bay. And it's like, oh, well, Kyle Pitts is just going to have the game of his life, and
Right.
everything's going to be perfectly fine. So yeah, I just tough week for Tampa, but like you said, with the results on Sunday, they end up surviving and being okay. But just a bizarre team at this point, and what they're doing in the second half of the season.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, in some ways, it was almost like good that it was such a bad loss that we could just be like, okay, Todd Bowles isn't the guy. Like, we've done a lot of Todd Bowles talk. You lose a game like this, it's like, well, now it's just obvious. Like, we need a new coach. Like, that's just like everyone agrees. Todd Bowles threw his players under the bus, which I didn't love after the loss. And now weirdly they're back in first place. I don't know what to do with this situation. I don't know. Like, I think Todd Bowles will keep his job if they win a playoff game. I think that's necessary. I think that this is if you somehow stumble backwards into the division, then and go one and done, Bowles will be out of his job. I do think there is a scenario he could save it with a playoff run, but I mean, this was such an unexcusable loss from every single level, right? Like, there's no way this should have happened.
Yeah. How shocked would you be if this team beat San Francisco or Seattle or Los Angeles in round one?
I mean, so I would be shocked. I think that this is like, I'm trying, even though they've beaten two out of those 3 teams, I just think this defense has completely fallen apart. Like you said, the defense is totally a house of cards. What one player gets hurt, and then it's like they can't figure anything out because they have 87 different play concepts that they run, and it requires so much communication that, like, they need to have their healthy lineup out there, which is never going to happen. So the one thing I'll say is, like, this receiving core fully healthy did look pretty good out there, and like that's kind of exciting. But again, if you can't defend, it only matters so much.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, you go through it all, and obviously, like, I still don't think Baker's been very healthy the second half of the season, and it's like he kept this offense propped up when they really needed him, and all of a sudden he's not healthy, and that's the biggest card there from the offense too. And it feels like all of a sudden a very incomplete team, where early in the season you're like, oh, you put all these pieces together, like, this is going to be a dangerous team, but it's like it just doesn't seem like it's going to happen this season for you guys, and that's frustrating, obviously, because I do think that the best version of this Tampa Bay team should be a lot better than this. And I mean, if it's changing the coach in the offseason, that could be an option. I mean, it's just going to be interesting to see how they approach this and how they approach these last 3 weeks.
Mike Evans was so good in this game. That's the last thing I have to say. Mike Evans was amazing. Getting him coming back not fully healthy and putting up 132 yards, like the fact that they blew this Mike Evans performance is just like insane.
Yeah, first ballot Hall of Famer. That's what he is.
He was playing like half of the snaps, like at most in this game. Like he was coming out on like third downs and like still did this.
Yeah, and he still got 12 targets. He could have had even more.
Yeah, crazy. Well, let's talk about. We touched on it. It's one step forward and 2 steps backwards for this Carolina Panthers team. They, again, I can't believe this happened. I can't believe that somehow the Buccaneers are in first place. And Kyle, I thought Bryce Young played pretty well in this game. Like there was a lot of just like 3rd down and 9s. Like when the Panthers got up, their 2-score lead, it was a lot of because Bryce Young was making things happen. Which is interesting. The Saints stopped the run well, and it feels like if you stop the run well, like the rest kind of often follows for this Panthers team. Young was able to make plays early on, but he can only do that for so long. There were some rough calls in this game, especially that last call. I just did not think that should have been a 15-yard penalty. He hit him in the shoulder. I don't know, like that felt like he kind of. I didn't love that. But ultimately, I mean, Tyler Shuck plays well. Tyler Shuck is someone who the Saints do not feel like they have to go quarterback, even with getting a high draft pick this upcoming draft. And then Saints give him credit for competing. But yeah, I mean, this is inexcusable loss for Carolina to finally, again, if they had won this game, they could have clinched the South with a win next week. That's how bad of a loss this is. And now they're, probably going to have to sleep Tampa Bay.
They've been swept by New Orleans. They have 4 wins this season, 2 against Carolina. Like, just a truly baffling team because they've beaten the Rams and the Packers.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would pick those 2 teams to make the NFC Championship game. They both lost at the Panthers. And they get swept by New Orleans. I mean, truly bizarre. I mean, this game really felt like it turned on me when they had the Saints had that 4th and 1. Tyler Shuck didn't convert on the play. Carolina got the ball back, and then it went 3 and out, and then they went down and scored. Then another punt, then went down and got the field goal for the win. That felt like a huge turning point in this game. And yeah, I mean, I think Shuck has played really well. I think Bryce Young played better in this game too than he did the last time against New Orleans for sure. But this was just a frustrating game. And yeah, I mean, Carolina at this point, like it was there for them. It was wide open.
Yeah.
The door was open for them, and does feel like they kind of missed the opportunity here. And I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they go and beat Tampa Bay next week by like 20, just because that's what this team has done all season for some odd reason. But like, I don't know what to think of them right now.
Yeah, they've been one of those teams that's much better at home than on the road, although maybe a little bit overblown. They're 4-2 at home, 3-5 on the road. But but that they do seem to be a weird. Like usually, I just kind of write that off as coincidence. There's 32 teams. There's bound to be some that are just going to happen to be better on one side or the other. But maybe there is something there. They do play in Carolina this upcoming Sunday, but I mean. I think it's fair to bring up a 4th down decision-making call as well. Dave Canales has been very aggressive all season. It's part of why the Panthers have 7 wins, but did go for it. Could have gone up 2 scores like relatively early on in the 4th quarter. Decided to go for it on 4th and 1. Didn't convert. Those are always ones we have to talk about. Had an opportunity to, again, they went for it because they thought they were going to get it. But I think game situation, you're not doing a great job at controlling the line of scrimmage. Like, it wouldn't have been the worst thing to kick a field goal there.
Yeah. No, I agree. The math probably says it was a good time to go for it, but at the same time, going up 10 points at that point felt important, and it ended up being very important because obviously they came down to 1. And like I said, it's a frustrating game for Carolina. This team is still young; they're learning from these mistakes. We'll see what this team looks like next season, and they could still win the division even at this point with 3 games left in the season. So It's frustrating team, but the opportunity is still there for them, even though it feels like a missed opportunity for sure. And then you look at the New Orleans side where, I think Shuck has proven himself in a lot of ways. I think he's played really well. I think he's made some really good throws. And, I think everything you looked at as far as the arm talent goes is there. And it's going to be interesting to see how he develops going forward.
Yeah, should be fascinating there, Kyle. Again, just look at us, couple guys rooting for first place teams.
Exactly. Yeah. Couldn't draw it up any better.
I saw on the Bucs subreddit someone said like, I feel like we're the the business executive that keeps feeling upwards. It's like, yeah, like none of us know how this is happening. We're just glad to be in the NFC South.
Yeah. That's fair. Hey, Knock Andrew came in at midnight, perfect, right on the dot, and said Raiders. Do you want to talk Raiders?
We'll give it. That's impressive that the Raiders fans are a different breed. But no, we will not be talking Raiders. They will be the last team we speak about here. Let's move on. Again, a lot of really interesting games this week. This is a fantastic slate. Let's go. You know what? What about Colts Seahawks? Who, Kyle, you have to apologize to Phillip Rivers.
Look at this guy.
Yeah.
18 at 27, 120 yards, touchdown, interception, 4.4 yards per attempt. 44 years young. Phillip Rivers. Man, the way they talked about him on the broadcast of this game and in the pregame show, you thought they were trotting out like an 80-year-old man to go throw some football around. Like as Bart Starr stepping on the field. Yeah, I mean, he played well enough. Like they did things. He threw a touchdown. That was exciting. And yeah, I think weird game from Seattle, and the Indianapolis defense I thought did play pretty well at points. And yeah, it came down to the a couple big plays I thought from the passing game for Seattle that were really the difference.
Yeah, I think Phillip Rivers played like how the drunk guy at the bar thinks they would play in a football game. Maybe even that's like I think I would play in a football game. Like when I imagine it in my head, like in the shower or something, I'm like, I'd be like Phillip Rivers. I wouldn't be athletic, but I'd be able to like obviously I wouldn't play that well, but that's like what I think I would do.
Yeah, let me just fling the ball out there and hope for the best.
Yeah, like that's like my imagination of that's the best case scenario. Like there'd be a play where I'd fall and stumble and not be able to really get up very quickly and look bad, but then I'd be like, oh, well, I could just kind of there were a couple of you don't fully realize the ball is taking a while to get just 8 yards down the field.
Yeah, it was interesting for sure. I mean, I don't know. Do you chalk this thing up to anything but Seattle just didn't score touchdowns for whatever reason?
Yeah, I mean, well, listen, I think that I kind of talked about this in the pre-show of the Colts do have defensive talent. I know that their secondary is banged up, but if you can, I mean, listen, Jackson Smith and Jigba still at 113 yards, but that's still kind of almost taking him out of the game to some degree, given some of the other games he's had. And you could kind of force them to look elsewhere. There was a pathway, run the ball and try to have success that way. 3.5 yards per carry again against Seattle was not the worst in the world. And I mean, yeah, the not scoring touchdowns was obviously a factor, but they held them to not scoring touchdowns. They held them to 2 for 13 on third downs. That's something that's not very repeatable, but something you can maybe do again. But I mean, it's just in the passing game wasn't the worst you've ever seen. Ultimately, I mean, the Colts are again, we're doing playoff roadmaps and stuff. Technically, if they win out, they'll make the playoffs basically. But 49ers, Jaguars, Texans, I don't think they're going to win a game in that stretch. But at least it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. And yeah, the roadmap definitely feels far-fetched, but at the same time, you're playing two teams that are in front of you. There is an opportunity there. But yeah, I mean, you look at this game, Seattle had 5.3 yards per play. Colts had 3.7 yards per play. Seattle was 0-2 in the red zone, 2 of 13 on third down, 3 of 14 overall, third and fourth down. So those are definitely things Seattle has to clean up and play better at. But just a weird finale, just a weird game overall for Seattle and how they didn't convert some of those drives. And yeah, I thought Indianapolis, their defense gave them a chance to win it, but this offense isn't doing anything. And especially against this caliber of team, the unfortunate thing for them is they're playing really good defenses the next 3 weeks too.
Right. If they were playing a couple bad teams, I'd say they have a chance. It's the schedule on top of this situation. But yeah, Darnold didn't turn the ball over. That was a big factor for Seattle, and then made the play to Rashid Shaheed, who they traded for. And like, listen, this is part of why you make deadline deals. Seattle could win the Super Bowl this year. Their next, kind of 3 teams in the 1 seed are all in the same division. Or fighting for 1 seed or in the same division. The Rams, Seahawks, and the Niners are kind of in this. If the Seahawks went out, they're the 1 seed. Thursday night football against the Rams, one of the best Thursday night games we've had ever. That's kind of, adding Rashid Shaheed. He makes this play. He puts them in this situation. So, definitely looking forward to Thursday.
Yeah, should be a good one. Rams obviously coming off a win themselves, but they're dealing with their own issues.
Yeah, well, let's go there. Let's go to the Rams, who, listen, Stafford throws an interception to Aiden Hutchinson, who, it's so funny that I remember when he had his first interception in the NFL, the whole thing was like his first time he ever had an interception, never had one in like high school. And now it's like he's a ball hawk, constantly getting these. But then just this Rams offense was just unstoppable, as we thought it might be against the depleted Lions secondary. Jared Goff and the Lions offense played very well as well. There was a 52-yard Amon-Ra St. Brown play in there that was very fun, like a touchdown pass to Jamison Williams down the field. Amon-Ra St. Brown had 18 targets in this game, which is pretty impressive. Nakua had 181 yards. Both these offenses were great, but the Rams offense was just a little bit better.
Yeah. I mean, it really came down to that. I thought both of them were awesome. The run game, it felt like, was the difference for the Rams. They had 5.5 yards per attempt, 3 touchdowns on the ground. I thought Corum and Kyron Williams played really well in this game. And like you said, the Stafford I thought was awesome besides the one interception. Nakua came up big in this game. The big thing with this one is just Devontae Adams getting hurt in this one. Probably going to keep him out of Thursday, I would assume. But at minimum, I mean, that's a huge game as it is, because that is a divisional opponent that's also competing for the 1 seed. So that is a big loss. And then, see you can get him healthy down the stretch. But yeah, I thought they played terrific still. The offense looks really good. And Lions, they're fighting for their lives. I think they're still playing well, and it just may be, they draw the short straw on this one, because they're still on the outside looking in at this point.
Yeah, it's just crazy that this Lions team might miss the playoffs, because I've always said, like, I like the divisional matchups and how things work. Should we just give the Lions the NFC South? We should give the Seahawks the NFC South this year, and then have the other 3 wild cards go from there, right?
This year, we should get in.
It shouldn't be. We shouldn't change the format. We should just this year kick out the NFC South champion.
Yeah, yeah. I think that is that's perfectly justifiable.
I'm a Bucs fan. I would not be upset. I'd be like, yeah, I get it. Like that's understandable. I get it.
We're gonna have 11-win team and not make the playoffs, and then the 8-9 Tampa Bay Buccaneers make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what it'll be. I mean, I think the Lions still have a chance. The good news is they play a lot of teams they need to, or at least they play the Bears that final game. That might be what it comes down to. I think if the Lions do go 3-0, their odds of making it are pretty decent, actually. But now they got to go 3-0. This was an opportunity to, to make up ground, and weren't able to do so. So yeah, 2 teams definitely looking forward here.
Yeah, no, I mean they still got the opportunity there. The NFC North is a bloodbath right now. They got to beat the Rams, they got to beat the Bears. Bears played the Packers. I mean, anything's up for grabs at that point.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the Packers, who wait 1 second. It's the stupid timer thing is throwing me off. I gotta figure, it drives me nuts. But okay, got the Packers Broncos up, the banner up now. Yeah, I mean, this was a game that Green Bay felt like they kind of had for a bit, but I mean, to me, the story of this game, we can talk about the turnovers for Green Bay, but to me, the story of this game is like Bo Nix is like that high school senior who, it's like, I just need to see the pass. But then when they need to get an A on a test, is able to do it. It seems like this season, anytime you need Bo Nix to perform, he has performed. Anytime you don't need him to perform, he has not performed. So it is very, very fascinating. But he was fantastic in this game.
He was fantastic. Yeah.
Did have a couple of questionable plays, but other than that was very good.
He's gonna have those though, and it's
Yeah.
okay. Like as long
Hmm.
as they can endure them. Like that's the big thing. This Broncos team does not need to rely on Bo Nix to win games, right? Like
Hmm.
they can win in spite of Bo Nix, and it's only helpful that he's additive in a lot of these big games too. Like you said, in a lot of their biggest games, he's been really good. And he was really good in this game, and that was a difference because they needed some plays down the stretch. He made those plays down the stretch, and Green Bay didn't make those plays down the stretch. I mean, they had turnovers, they had mistakes, and it was just Bo Nix time and time again coming up with big time throws, and he was awesome in this game, and that was enough.
Yeah. Broncos now, I mean, this was a huge week for them. The Patriots loss and their victory. They are, and also, I mean, just, the Patrick Mahomes injury, that makes Broncos playing the Chiefs a lot easier on Christmas Day. So for Denver, if they go 2-1 down the stretch, they're the 1 seed. And if the Patriots drop another game, then if they go, 1-2, I believe they'd be the 1 seed in that scenario. So kind of got a stranglehold on that. It feels like, and if the Jaguars beat them, it gets more open next week. But yeah, really impressive win for Denver. They will be in my Super Bowl contenders tier, which I've been not putting them in for a while, much to the chagrin of Broncos fans. But I mean, you got to be if you're at 12-2 at this point.
12-2 with wins like this on the resume. I mean,
Yeah,
like, yeah, I think if you get this version of Bo Nix, they can absolutely win the Super Bowl.
yeah,
But it just, is he going to consistently do this? So far, he has. That's the big thing.
yeah. And the 1 seed, it's helpful this year, but with the Bills kind of lurking as the 5 seed, it feels like it might not quite be as helpful unless you get another wild card team to win in round one. Then maybe you can get an easier pathway to the. I think you want to avoid Buffalo and New England as the 1 seed, and you can't do that because one of those teams is going to be a wild card team.
Yeah. I mean, if New England drops another game, maybe Jacksonville drops up to 2. I mean, who knows?
I guess that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that, but yeah, that's possible. Yeah. So we got to talk about the Packers, who, again, listen, turnovers, whatever. For the Packers, the biggest thing they're looking at right now is the injuries. I mean,
Mhm.
first Christian Watson, who just did feel like he unlocked something with this offense, and we talk about this receiving core being kind of a lot of different guys who were like solid players, but I feel like Watson was the one who really added a unique skill set that can't be replaced with some of these other guys. So him getting banged up hurts, and obviously the biggest one is the guy that traded all those draft picks for, Micah Parsons, who has been having a kind of a career year on top of just being a great player and a future Hall of Famer, ends up tearing his ACL. Is almost, I don't think it's officially been announced, but it's almost assuredly what it was, is going to be out for the season. And again, similar to Mahomes, will he be back for week 1 next year? We don't know. So just a tough blow. I still think the Packers are good. I don't think the Packers are dead in the water, but this is, for kind of an all-in move, it just really stings.
Yeah. No, it definitely does. I mean, like you had this opportunity, and I mean the last couple weeks this team has played really lights out, and the defense really struggled in this game. Parsons gets hurt, and like you said, it feels like that is a big blow. I mean, could they still win? I still see a pathway to this team winning. I think this offense is still really good, even despite the Watson injury. But like you said, it just feels like that could be a couple brutal injuries based on what the skill set of this team is and what they needed from their personnel.
Yeah, and again, like if you get the 2 seed, in some ways that might even be better. You get to play probably the Eagles. It would most like. Oh, I mean, I think multiple. I don't know. Getting that far down the road is difficult, but I think multiple wild card teams are going to win. So it's they're probably going to have to play one of the. They're going to have to. I think. Let's be honest. The divisional round will probably be three NFC West teams anyway. So in the Packers, that feels like what's likely to happen.
Yeah, I mean, we could get all 3 wildcard teams winning based on
Yeah.
this. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think I would like the Packers over like whoever they play, as probably like the Bears. But I mean, yeah, you're right. That's not a guarantee. That's possible. So should be interesting. But let's move on, Kyle. Handful of games left to discuss. Let's go Ravens Bengals. A game. Screwed it up. The timer thing again. Keeps throwing me off. Gotta re-add it. Change the timer. Okay, now we're back. Ravens Bengals. I mean, a game that was low scoring for a good chunk. In fact, no scoring for a good chunk of this game. Took a while for the Ravens to get on the board. Got 2 touchdowns late in the second quarter, though, and then we're able to kind of control the game from there. Big Derrick Henry game, only 11 carries, but he had 100 yards on the dot in this one. Keaton Mitchell also had 8 carries for 66 yards. Lamar Jackson had 12 passing attempts. Kyle, how did this happen?
I mean, yeah, you look at it and it's 40 plays for the Ravens to 71 for the Bengals. The
Yeah.
Ravens had 8 yards per play. So that was pretty remarkable. Obviously, the turnovers played a part in that. The Bengals' struggles on third down played a part in that. And then not to mention, it's just, the Ravens were really efficient on offense and they got their get back on defense. So I thought they played really well overall. And they definitely needed this game after some brutal, brutal games. I thought the secondary was really good in this game. And they also got after Joe Burrow. So I thought all of that put together, good game for the defense, really efficient day from the offense. Like you said, 7.9 yards per play on the ground, 12.5 yards per attempt through the air. And they scored plenty. So really good job from the Ravens in this one, and a very, very solid performance.
Yeah, this eliminates the Bengals, and and Burrow, I mean, wasn't great in this game. And we can use the other, there are plenty of reasons why the Ravens defense was able to shut down this Bengals offense, and they are not all just Burrow played poorly, but that is a part of it. Chase had 132 yards and 16 targets. Burrow went with the Joe Flacco strategy here in this one, but again, there wasn't much else there, and Burrow made costly mistakes. I mean, in Baltimore territory, turning the ball over, right? A pick six, which was Kyle Van Noy handing the ball off to a defensive back. That's fun. That's one of those that like you always feel like should happen more. That was a good play.
Yeah. No, it was a really good play. And like you said, I mean, like Bengals didn't have T. Higgins in this game, but like, there's going to be a lot of conversations about the Bengals in the offseason and what this team wants to do. Obviously, there was some conversations about Joe Burrow and his happiness in this situation over the last 2 years and missing the playoffs. And they kind of missed out on their opportunity again this year. But yeah, I don't know. I think that they still have their obviously really good top end players on offense. They got to figure out some things going forward.
Yeah. Let's move on. Kyle, I'm going to head to the bathroom. Is there a game you want to talk about? What about like Cardinals Texans?
Yeah, sure. I could talk about Cardinals Texans for a few minutes.
Sure. There's not a lot of great games left. Sorry. I can't like,
yeah,
no
no,
great
you're
one
good.
Yeah,
I mean, the Texans absolutely dominated this game. They jumped out early. I mean, they opened this game up with a 50-plus yard touchdown to Nico Collins. And yeah, I thought the Texans, despite giving up 20 points and like the numbers for Jacoby Brissett not looking too bad, I think they were on cruise control most of this game. I mean, this team is firing on all cylinders in a lot of ways. I think if you're going to pick a wild card team to kind of be interesting, I mean, obviously you got Buffalo as far as a wild card team. That's the favorite in the AFC. If I'm going to pick another team in the AFC outside of like Buffalo, Denver, New England, this would be the team I'm kind of looking at, because I just look top to bottom. Like the offense still isn't perfect in a lot of ways, but CJ Stroud did play really well in this game. They've gotten a lot more out of this running game, and this defense is still just overwhelmingly good. So I think there's a lot of really good stuff here for this Houston team, and they put together a really nice performance in this one. And yeah, I mean, Trey McBride still has like these awesome games over and over again, but it really doesn't matter because like I just think that Houston top to bottom is a really complete team.
Okay, right, I'm back. Yes. I agree with everything you said.
All right. I said that if I'm picking a team outside of you have your Buffalo is the AFC favorite currently, then you have Denver and New England. I said if I'm picking another team right now, it's Houston.
Yeah, that feels fair. I mean, especially if their offense can play like this, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know if the offense could continue to play like this, but I mean, like, the defense is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting anyways, and if CJ Stroud can play good enough, they have a shot.
Yeah, should be that Texans Chargers game could be a couple weeks, could be a kind of an interesting test for this Texans offense. So fascinated to see how that goes.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, well, let's move on, Kyle. Still 5 games left. Some we can maybe plow through, although I think there's still some interesting stuff. Like we can do Browns Bears, which is fascinating, Kyle. The Myles Garrett 1 step closer, actually 1.5 steps closer, is now just 1 sack behind both TJ Watt and Michael Strahan for the sack record. I'm a little disappointed he got a half sack here. I wanted him to break it cleanly. I wanted it to go from like a half down. Now he's gonna have the one where he ties it, and then he's gonna have the one where he takes the lead.
If he gets him on half a sack, is that less fun?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you want it to be like a good well, I mean, you surely don't want a Michael Strahan situation where Brett Favre just calls like a play to get himself sacked by him.
Yeah, I mean, he's still got 21 and a half sacks in 14 games. I think that is
Mm-hmm.
a pretty awesome thing. But yeah, I mean, we'll see if he's able to get in these last 3 games. I assume he's going to get 1.5 sack in these last 3 games, but you never know.
Yeah, I'll say this. I feel like Aaron Rodgers. That so in two he played. It's the Bills, the Steelers, and then the Bengals. Maybe you can get it by the Bills. I think if Aaron Rodgers is playing, he's not going to want to be on that highlight reel for forever. He'll take some grounding calls before he gets sacked.
Aaron Rodgers
Yeah, no way he's okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty funny. He doesn't want to pull the Brett Favre after all that flack.
Right. That's the last thing. I bet that's like something he's irrationally. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. The compare, the passing the torch could be from Favre to Rodgers too.
What a time.
And Garrett wants it before the 17th game, right? Like that's something he's thinking about.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely going to feel better, right, if you do it. So,
this is good. Mason Rudolph. What if Aaron Rodgers fakes an injury? He doesn't want to be the guy. Now Mason Rudolph is in there.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you take the helmet and just hit him over the top of it.
Yeah, I think so. That would be good.
Oh man. Bears played well.
Yeah.
Caleb, I mean, this is one of Caleb's better performances against a good defense. So there was that too. I mean, like
one of the plays of the year.
Yeah, I mean that throw was insane. So, yeah, I mean, this Bears team is interesting. I still don't know what it is as far as the hierarchy in the NFC goes, but like, I mean, they're probably going to make the playoffs at this point. We'll see.
It's crazy they have 10 wins, and I'm like, I think 2 wins gets them in. Like, there's still like, it's just the NFC is just crazy this year. But yeah, I mean, they played the Lions. Again, it's not guaranteed.
2 definitely gets them in. Yeah, 2 wins definitely gets them in.
Okay.
Like, yeah, based on math. So, but yeah, they need 1 win and they need some tiebreakers. So beat Detroit at the end of the season, you're probably in. But yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, forgot about math. But yeah, but 1 win does not guarantee them the playoff spot unless they can have it be against the Lions that final game. But like again, the other 2 games they play are not guaranteed. I mean, it's not crazy that they have this great season and then lose to the Packers, lose to the Niners, lose to the Lions, and then are out.
Yeah, that'd be such a
win one of those,
wouldn't it? Yeah, that's the hope.
Yeah, but again, like even the Pat, like if the Lions win out. And like even if the Bears win one of those first 2, like I think they could still be out with 11 wins. So that's where things get tricky.
Yeah, I don't know. These tiebreakers they're a headache. We need to do this better.
That's we really do.
American sports need to do this better. It should be head to head, and then it should just be like point differential.
Yeah, I get
those are your 2 things.
We did a podcast like 5 years ago when we came up with new rules, and that was my take was head to head, and then immediately after is point differential.
Yeah, those should be the only things. Like it's like, and that's one thing that like soccer does well. It's goal differential is the first tiebreaker, and that's basically it. And 99% of the time it's solved on goal differential and everybody moves the hell on. Like and then after that it's like goals scored. So it's like you could do head to head, point differential, point scored. Like that's easy. Everybody just does that and moves on.
Here's the issue with this. So I'm looking. I have it up. So it's head to head as number 1. Perfect, makes sense. For if it's conference games, it's percentage in conference. If you're for a wild card, like percentage within the conference. Okay, fine. That's a fine second one to have. Then it's win percentage in common games minimum of 4. I'm out. That cannot be number 3. It needs to be something like even strength of victory being number 3. That works. I can look that up easily. Now I have to look at both teams' schedule and figure out. I remember last year with the Seahawks trying to see how they can make the playoffs. I had to go like look at their schedule and then another team's schedule and like compare it. It's too much.
Well, I was looking at it earlier in the week too because I was thinking of like the Chiefs Chargers scenario, and I was looking at the tiebreaker, and it was like, it's the 4 strongest common opponents is the last tiebreaker. No, it's all common opponents, but you have to have a minimum of 4.
Right.
And it's like, who likes this? Like, it's just, I don't get it.
Yeah, and then
Who?
I didn't realize. I think I got this wrong. Which, by the way, it's probably not great if I do a weekly show where I talk about playoff scenarios and I got something wrong. But last week, I think I corrected you incorrectly. Where like divisional record does matter if you're two teams in the same division, even if you're competing for a wild card spot, which doesn't make sense to me. Why is that a factor here? So I don't know. It's confusing.
Yeah, we need to fix this. That's all I know. Just simplify this for the average man, so we don't have to do math. We don't like math here, and yeah, Bears are good. Good win.
Number 11 is coin toss on the tiebreakers.
They should just do they should change that too. Like if everything ends up tied, like if you do head to head, goal points, point differential, points scored, points against. If everything's even somehow, it should just go to like a kickoff or something. Like they just take turn taking 50 yards field goals until one of them misses.
Yeah, I'm looking at this as well. So number 8 on the list is so number 9 on the list is best point differential. Period. Number 8 is point differential in conference games. That's before total point differential. So now if we're getting to that point, we have to figure out the point differential in only conference games. This is outrageous.
What is number 10? 40-yard dash time of the head coaches.
Best net touchdown in all games.
Yeah. Poor Andy Reid is never winning that one.
You set yourself up for that. That was you lobbed it up and jammed it.
Yeah. The poor there was a play earlier in that game too. They had like a 3rd and 1 late in the game. Or actually sorry, no, they converted a first down. They got into Harrison Butker field goal territory. And then they had to take a delay game. Right. And they were like, well, why didn't they use a timeout? And I was like, well, it's not like Andy Reid's running down the sideline to call a timeout. I guess nobody had the wherewithal to do this.
Good point. There was a play when why am I blanking on his Spagnuolo? Like he ran down and called a timeout, and the ref just said, yeah, sure. Like they just let him do it.
Yeah. Andy Reid needs a celebrity timeout person. Imagine doing that each week. I really want to be the jacket person on the sideline, the person who just runs on the field during timeouts and puts jackets on players, then runs off with the jacket. But that would be a great job too, is Andy Reid's timeout guy.
Yeah, I figured the job I don't want is like in tennis, the people to have to run and grab the ball. I feel like that's just like that's too difficult. Like it's so much sprinting, and also like at some point I'm like no one looks great trying to catch a tennis ball. You know, it's gonna bounce weird. Like I'm gonna look stupid at some point.
You're gonna fall over, trip over yourself, something like that. Yeah,
or just like whack the ball when I'm trying to like hit it in the crowd or something. Like I'm not gonna do that cleanly.
Yeah, it's gonna happen to everybody, right?
Yeah. Browns Bears, Kyle. We gotta talk about Shitter Sanders. Not his best day, and this one ends it with 3 interceptions. Granted, one of those was Jerry Jeudy just refusing to catch a football in the end zone that resulted in an interception. But he did have a couple other picks, in a drop pick and a fumble that was recovered by the offense as well. He was their leading rusher in this game. He had 2 carries for 24 yards, so that's not ideal. This team cannot block at all, which is a big issue. But they were really still in this for a good chunk of it. But it's weather. Chicago has a good defense, and Shitter Sanders, I think, still figuring out how the NFL game works.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. It wasn't a great game for sure. Like it's a bad one. I am enjoying his just kind of grip it and rip it style right now because this team doesn't really have anything else going for it on offense. Yeah. So just get the ball, throw it downfield, and see what happens. Like he's got playmakers.
There was a wristband gate in this one. So the sideline reporter announced that said something along the lines of they were making adjustments to the wristband and they were changing things on the wristband because he didn't have the right thing on there. And everyone is like, what do you mean you don't have the correct wristband? Like, how is that possible? Well, it's not. That's not what happened. Shitter Sanders, just like the card fell out of the wristband and they had to put a new one in his wristband is all that happened. Somehow this got reported as like he had the wrong note card. How many note cards could there be? I assume Bailey Zappi has the same card. So that was the whole thing.
He had the Bears note card or something. That'd be funny.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's move on, Kyle. 4 games left to discuss. We'll plow through some of these. Let's go to Jets Jaguars. Again, Brady Cook. There was a cool play where he threw a touchdown and his family was happy. Those are always fun when those happen. But also, it's probably not great if that's happening in football, right? Like usually that happens in like baseball when there's like 162 games and that's a story, not like this. Did not go great outside of that for Brady Cook. Trevor Lawrence is like playing really good football all of a sudden, and I don't know exactly what to do with that.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with it either because the teams he's played really well against are not like the cream of the crop, but he has looked really darn good the last 3 weeks. So this was a really good performance. Obviously, 5 touchdowns is going to do a lot of headlines. But yeah, he is putting it together, and this is another team that looks kind of interesting when it's all put together like this because they are throwing the ball well, they are running the ball well. This Jacoby Myers pickup has been such a sneakily really, really good trade deadline pickup. That's one of the better trade deadline pickups I can remember, honestly. And he's been really good for this offense. And they are doing the thing without Travis Hunter on defense too with his contribution. So really good stuff for Jacksonville. And you know, I mean they're rolling on all cylinders right now at 10-4.
Yeah, and Brian Thomas is back. Like that's something that's like should be mentioned. And like I know it's been a disappointing year for him, but like getting him back in the lineup is still effective. He got into the end zone in this one. So I mean, yeah, I mean this and I think about Liam Cohen too. There was kind of this thing where Jacksonville. I think he kind of wanted to go to Jacksonville. Jacksonville wanted him, but he didn't want Trent Baalke as the GM, understandably so. And essentially, like the Jaguars ownership, when Cohen was going to go back to the Buccaneers, just said, like, what do you want? Give us a deal that you'll say yes to. You want Ben Johnson money. You want a lot more control than you'd usually get help, pick the GM. Sure. We'll just grant that for you. I feel like fans have had this perspective for a while. It's like, why don't you just go and like way overpay for a coach because you're still paying them way less than like even like a decent like offensive lineman. And this is the exact example. Like, he's done an incredible job with this Jaguars team. This Jaguars team is not this good if they miss out on him and go with, I don't know, Mike McCarthy or something.
Yeah. No, I mean, his resume the last few seasons as an offensive coordinator really spoke for itself. And like, I think people made fun of the memes, obviously, at the press conference, but and obviously the situation, the saga played out. But there's a reason that he was this coveted by Jacksonville. He's really panned out as a coach.
Got screwed over by the timer thing again. Didn't realize the banner went away.
Yeah, I mean, look, 5 teams with 10 wins currently in the AFC. Those 5 teams, I mean, all of them at this point could probably talk themselves into a run.
Yeah. I mean, and again, you're talking about the Texans as well. Yeah, I mean, it's even the Ravens. You can talk yourself into it.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm not saying I would. I'm just saying like there is a Ravens fan who thinks that this could be their year.
Yeah, I mean, it is a conversation at this point. So yeah, I mean, it feels wide open. There's a lot of really good teams in the AFC, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, let's talk about a couple good teams in the NFC. Not both in the same game, but first the 49ers, who, hey, signs of life from Cam Ward once again, who's doing this maybe somewhat more consistently now. Ultimately, the 49ers they're the better team. As expected, this offense completely goes off against not a very good Titans defense. Brock Purdy has nearly 10 yards per attempt, passer rating of 140, kind of one of those Brock Purdy games. Running game's still not great for the 49ers, which is weird, but again, for this 49ers team, they are a completely forgotten about team in the NFC because we talk about the Seahawks and the Rams. It's not impossible they get the 1 seed. They need Seattle to win this next game for things to work out, but they could end up there. And just in general, even if they don't, even if they're the 6th seed, this is a team that could make the Super Bowl. Like that. That's how good they are.
Yeah, they are really good. And honestly, like, I mean, Purdy outside, I mean, that Monday night game against Carolina was not great overall. But overall, like the 4 games he's played since he's come back, I think he's been really, really good otherwise in the other 3 games. And this was another one where I thought he was really good. And yeah, this 49ers team with him running the show, with everybody back on offense. I mean, yeah, they are a dangerous team for sure. I think this is being overlooked. now that they have everybody back. I still think the defense has some issues. Like you said, Cam Ward did have his success. Tony Pollard the last 2 weeks has just weirdly like come alive all of a sudden. There are some things here still to like about Tennessee and Cam Ward. But yeah, I think that the 49ers offense can score on anybody for sure.
Yeah, I think they have to be behind those other two NFC West teams in terms of like how we view them, just because this Niners team defense, again, gives up some stuff to Tennessee in a way that maybe you wouldn't like. Jeffrey Simmons caught a touchdown pass. Is Jeffrey Simmons maybe their best? Should he be a two-way player? Should he play receiver for the Titans?
I'm sure he'd like to play every position to help his team out at this point.
Yeah. That's one of those, like, why are you, like, even like in the trade line, like, oh, we're considering trading everyone except for Jeffrey Simmons. Like, what do you mean? Why is NFL teams like this?
Why are you drawing the line there? I mean, that's there's a few teams there's a few guys like that. I mean, Alvin Kamara still too. It's like some guys like to stick around, I guess.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily like. I don't know. I could see being Jeffrey Simmons, but I don't need to go to Buffalo.
You think so?
I mean, like, I feel like if I care about football enough to make it my job to talk about football, I probably would care enough about football if I was a player to want to win a Super Bowl. But like, I can see if that wasn't like something I was absolutely crazy about, and I played football because I was just really good at football, I would maybe not necessarily need an extra month of work and having to live in Buffalo, with all due respect to Buffalo, which I'm sure is a great place for some people. But if you're like me and don't like cold weather, maybe wouldn't be something you'd race towards.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably fair.
Yeah, I don't know. Just saying. I gotta get it. Let's move on, Kyle. 2 games left. Let's talk Raiders. Not even at the end of the show. How about that? I mean, I don't know. It's never great when you win, when a team beats you 31-0, and everyone's just like, yeah, but whatever. Like, it's just the Raiders. Like, can you really? Like, how much can you factor in, Kyle? I don't think I've ever seen a stat line like this. Kenny Pickett, 25 passing attempts. Have you seen this stat? Yeah, 64 passing yards. How is that possible? Well, that's way below the Blaine Gabbert zone. We need a new zone for this.
It's not great. I would say that needs improvement.
I think so. Yeah.
They had 7 first downs in this game on 42 plays. Like this team
3.9 yards per carry. Hey, great rushing attack all of a sudden.
Improvement indeed. Yeah, I didn't enjoy a single second of this. This is not fun. They have to make some serious changes. Like, everyone's got to be fired. You're cleaning house again. That's my opinion. That's all I care about. Eagles look good. That's fine. You did what you had to do in this game. Offense looked good. You came out and did exactly what you wanted in this one. This is a momentum game. You're playing a junior varsity team right now. This is not real.
Yeah, we keep saying, like, every time there's a team that like plays, it's like, well, listen, it's the NFL. Anything can happen. Like, the Ravens, the Raiders are putting that to the test. The fact that this team beat New England week 1 is like the proof that anything can happen week 1, because they have just been so horrible as of late. I mean, I don't know. This is just, I keep thinking, like, I was thinking, like, should I be down on myself for not giving the Broncos respect? I'm like, they only beat this team by 7 both times they played. So no, I was correct to disrespect the Broncos when I did. This is just terrible. This is the worst. How is Kenny Pickett somehow worse at this than Geno Smith?
Yeah, I mean, maybe the situation is as bad as it
maybe
looked
not
overall. Yeah. I mean, like, Devin White's getting 16 tackles for this team in a game. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like,
there's a section of Bucks Twitter that is just the dumbest people alive that clearly are not watching the games and like, oh, shouldn't let Devin White go.
Anyone who looks at tackle stats, I just assume is an idiot. If you tell me, oh, this guy has 100 tackles, I just be like, okay, you're an idiot. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, it was cool when Derek Brown did it as a defensive tackle. That's the one thing I'll say. But that had nothing to do with like how good he was. That was just a cool thing.
Well, it also was like a defensive tackle making 100 tackles is really impressive because you're at the line of scrimmage. You know, if you're 5 yards upfield making a tackle as a running back, or a linebacker, that means you're giving up 5 yards a carry. Like, that's not good.
If you have not a great run defense, and you're a linebacker, like, you're gonna basically tackle every single time the ball is ran your way. Like, that's like usually that's how most running plays end, is a linebacker makes a tackle.
Yeah.
And if you're getting ran out a lot, you're gonna make a lot of tackles.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles ran the ball 45 times in this game. Like,
yeah,
we might have ended up with a couple tackles in this one. Put me in front of Saquon, see what happens.
I don't know if that would have happened. Maybe. I bet, again, this is my delusional, like, me viewing myself as if I'm Phillip Rivers on an NFL field. I think I could, like, just, if like injuries are turned off, I think I would make a tackle at some point.
Just throw yourself at the legs and see what happens.
Yeah. I'm just going to try to plug up the hole where in run defense. Eventually, I'll guess right.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I probably do a hip drop tackle though, and then get fined.
I don't think we have the strength to do a hip drop tackle.
No, it's not gonna like you use your body weight. I thought, because I'd have to use body weight. I'm not like pushing him over.
No, I think you basically, the goal would be to like get like low and basically trip them.
Okay, yeah, maybe, perhaps. Kyle, let's talk some balls. You know what? I have to say, I was considering, like, do we need to change this team's what we call this team? No, they have earned being the balls for the remainder of this show for this season. Although they did beat the Giants this week. Kind of a disappointing loss for the Giants, who I felt like it's like you're trying to build some hype here. You're a bad team. Mm-hmm. I guess at least you keep the the draft pick situation going. But yeah, I mean, it feels like one team is actively like caring about this season, and that's the team that lost.
Yeah, it feels like they still want to be competitive, even though they lost all their players. But like, that sucked. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Like Jackson Dart, I mean, he still has decent numbers, but at the same time, like, it wasn't, I don't think, his best game. And yeah, I think there were some mistakes there for sure. And yeah, I mean, look, Mariota's a good backup quarterback, and like they've invested in the position, and like it put him in a position to win this game. It obviously doesn't really help them going forward, but it's just kind of a weird, forgotten season for this team. But yeah, Mariota can obviously play. Yeah.
Any more thoughts, or ready to move on?
No, I'm done.
Yeah, that's it. We didn't. Sorry if you're a Giants or Balls fan and you stayed up late to hear us talk about your team. That's kind of on you.
Why did you do that?
Yeah. That's there are local shows that will talk about these teams. You can find those people. Kyle, let them know where they can find us on Twitter before we head out.
Yeah, make sure to follow us on Twitter. That is at Jackson Kruger. Make sure to follow me at by Kyle Gronin, and make sure to follow the account page at On the Sideline JK. That is at On the Sideline JK.
Of course, if you like audio only podcast, anywhere you get your podcast, search On the Sideline Podcast. It should be available there. We will be back Wednesday at 6 p.m. to preview Week 16. Only 3 weeks left here. In the thick of things. No Chiefs talk basically will happen because they're out of it. I mean, what a crazy year.
What a crazy year indeed. And like you said, both of our teams are winning the division, so good stuff.
Yeah. Hey, Buccaneers could both of our teams could take strangleholds on the division with win. I guess the Patriots could technically clinch, right?
Technically, no, because they're only a game up, so they still need the one of the last
the
two.
Divisional, because the divisional tiebreakers could go wrong, but could take a stranglehold either way. Another Sunday night game. That's a fun one for the Patriots.
Yeah, got flex to it, so that'll be good. We'll talk about it first.
Yeah, and we got some Saturday games as well. So everyone, that's the one thing you have to mention as well, because people always forget those. Everyone remember the Saturday games. But yeah, we'll talk about it Wednesday. Kyle, let's get out of here unless you have anything else to say.
No, let's get out of here. Good stuff.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, everybody, again. We will be back on Wednesday, and until then, have a good one.
Peace.